The following program is a public service of Gulf Coast State College, WKGC, and Commodore Productions. And now, the Military Hour with Carrie Dieter.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Military Hour. We have a very special guest with us this morning that is going to fill us in on a fabulous event coming up related back to World War I. We have Miss Sarah Burris, and Sarah is with the Bay County Library System. Miss Burris, tell everybody about your background, what's going on, and thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you for having me. I work for the Bay County Public Library, and I'm the Community Relations and Marketing Coordinator. And we have recently received a grant, World War I in America, and we're super excited. So Carrie's been working with us, and it is a 2-year National Library of America initiative designed to bring veterans and their families together with the general public to explore continuing relevance of war by reading, discussing, and sharing insights from the writings of Americans who lived through it. And it's going to be happening in August.
Yeah, and almost the entire month, not daily, but there are segments, and the initial segment is going to be World War I, and it's centered around, I'm going to just hold this one up real quick, and then you can expound and tell everybody about this one. And this is the America Book Club, and written by Mr. Berg, Scott Berg.
Yes, it's edited by Berg, and all of the writings within World War I in America are primary source documentation. So it starts with like Woodrow Wilson, you've got Theodore Roosevelt, you've got Ernest Hemingway, you even have a poem from Robert Frost. So it's a mix of writings, but it's all from that time period and how Americans felt about being in the war during World War I.
And this is a new book that just arrived at Bay County Library and down here on 11th Street, and they're going to have several, but I think it's also available on Amazon if you want to go buy it. I, for one, am going to read this. I have set aside every morning time to read, especially historical items, and World War I and Teddy Roosevelt in particular. He's like my hero. So I'm going to make it a point to make sure I get this book. But tell us about the celebration, the program going on during the month.
Okay, so the book club is the first, it kicks off the event, and it's going to happen August 8th at 10 a.m. And Carrie will be there with me. We're going to have a panel of veterans, and we'll have refreshments. There'll be a casual book club in our meeting room. And so come to that. And even if you haven't read the book and you just want to come and hear the discussions about the dialogue, then come on in. And later that day we have a teen program, August 8th at 4 p.m. and it is called Grizzled, and it's based off of, we're going to have 3 sets of the Grizzled card game, and it's focused on World War I in France, and it's well illustrated. So that's geared for teens, and it's about friendship. So it's a collaborative game, cooperative game, and so you either all win together or you lose together. So that should be a fun one.
Did that game Grizzled originate during World War I?
It didn't. It's in homage to World War I, and so it's contemporary. It's a contemporary card game that was fairly recently released, but and they just put an expansion pack on it. So it should be good for teens to learn a little bit more about World War I in an approachable manner.
Great.
And then after that, we have Archives Come Alive with Colonel Lieutenant John McCrae, and we're super excited because this is an image of McCrae himself.
Pull in on this. This is Lieutenant Colonel McCrae.
And
also published.
Yes, he is most well known for In Flanders Field poem, which is why we use poppies as a symbol of remembrance for fallen soldiers. And we actually have a few letters from McCrae to Eleanor Lewis in our archives, and we're really excited to actually bring elements of our archives alive. They went to a European cruise together in 1913, stayed in touch throughout the war, and so Jason Hedden from the theater department at Gulf Coast State College is actually going to theatrically perform or present the letters to the public. And after that, we're going to have a Poppy art makerspace where we make pins, and it's open to families. It's very family focused.
And I want to thank you for providing me copies of those letters.
Oh my goodness.
To read. It was,
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I would, because I'm thinking, no, these are kind of like love letters between him and her and blah, blah. But it was really, really very interesting.
He doesn't shy away from it's as poignant as the In Flanders Field poem, and he's such a writer. He's a gifted
raw,
writer.
And you could tell it was all heartfelt and sincere. It was, I really enjoyed reading them. So I'd encourage anybody, if you want, to make sure you get copies of that and read them. They're fabulous. They really are. So thank you for doing that.
Yes, yeah, we're looking forward to Jason coming out to on August 12th, and that's going to start at 2 p.m. and then it'll kind of be throughout the afternoon. And so the performance first, and then an art maker space.
And I want to meet Jason Hedden as well. I look forward to that. That's going to be
It should be fantastic.
So, yeah.
Then
I think we're already having more fun than we should. Oh, no, that's not right. We should have fun, make education fun.
Yeah, it's interesting to learn. I didn't know too much about World War I before starting the project. I don't think my schooling really dove into it, so I'm really excited to learn more.
Well, I'm quite a bit older than you, and I like to think I know a little bit, but the more I see of every piece of history that I study, I know I only know very little bit, because there's so much more to try and digest, but keeps me busy, and I enjoy it.
Which is good, yes.
Yeah, and I make mistakes, and when I do point it out, in fact, here's a mistake I'll probably make, so I invite my Air Force brothers and sisters and Air Force historians. Now, given the background on this particular piece here,
All right.
I'm going to try and identify the aircraft.
Okay, we have been looking into our archives to find more things that are geared towards World War I, and our historian in the local history department, she just discovered these on a CD of photographs from a pilot from the area who was in World War I, and he was a Navy pilot, and he actually had his camera around, which is very rare to have a camera during World War I capturing everything. So this has been a gem, and so this is one of many. We're hoping to have them printed and on the wall, along with a traveling exhibit from the Library of America.
That in itself is going to be fantastic.
Yes,
Traveling exhibit. So in my feeble attempt, I looked at this as being a biplane and possibly a Fokker, F-O-K-K-E-R, I believe. I was unaware that the Navy flew during World War I. To me, that was news, because I only know about the Army Air Corps, which the Air Force came out of. So that's very interesting to see and to learn there. So if I'm mistaken, make sure you get a hold of me and straighten me out. I don't mind making a mistake. I own those, and when I'm right, I own that too. So anyway, it's going to be very interesting, just chock full of some artifacts, and especially the history. So let me be quiet and you continue.
Oh no, and we'll have display cases as well that has more that is World War I focused. And we have two more programs to mention. On Monday, August 14th at 6 p.m. is On the Home Front. So our local historian from the Historical Society, Glinda Walters, Dr. Glinda Walters, is going to come and talk about what it was like in Bay County during World War I.
Very interesting.
Yes, and she's got some good stories, so it's going to be really interesting. So
I wonder how many people know that General Patton paid 2 visits and did maneuvers here.
What?
He was World War II.
Okay.
That's another historical fact. A lot of people probably don't know
about our local area and the history.
About this area, yeah.
It's fascinating.
When I first learned that one, I was like, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. So, you garner more knowledge by reading. Imagine how that ties into a library.
Yes.
But interesting nonetheless. So again, I'll be quiet. Continue on. I'm just excited about
I know.
this whole
It's
thing.
going to be a lot of
Got
fun.
the grant, and everything's coming to fruition, and falling into place.
And everyone who's partnering has been fantastic, and their wealth of knowledge, so I'm super excited.
Real quick, can we invite the people that watch and hear and see to bring artifacts related to World War I if they have any?
If you have
would it
any,
be
but
in
you'll
your
have to
care
go
at the
through me
library?
for proper documentation, make sure we have everything.
Sure.
Yes, but yes, just Sarah Burris, ask for me at the front desk or
front
call
desk.
me. And yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so, and as far as artifacts, I'm thinking, Jason Fergon, commander of VFW 2085, provided some assets that you digitize and they'll be on
Yes,
display.
they'll be on display.
He has more that he's going to bring that can probably go in the display case.
Okay.
So yeah, if you've got something, photographs acceptable, and
Yeah.
any kind of artifact, hat, whatever you may have.
We'll try and make it work.
Find Sarah Burris down at the library on 11th Street, Bay County Library, and let's make this happen. Make it huge.
Yeah,
It's going to be huge.
yeah.
Let's make it as big as we can.
It's the centennial. So the America, we started in World War I in 1917 and through 1919, kind of.
Yep.
And so so this is the centennial year, and that is one of the reasons why the program and the grant is here.
And that is fabulous. Mm-hmm. So now, coming up after on the home front, then we do Beyond the Lens.
Yes, Beyond the Lens it happens regularly every month, and so I do a book and film club. And this one is going to be geared towards World War I. So the Beyond the Lens for this month is going to be Paths of Glory by Humphrey Cobb. And that'll be Tuesday, August 15th at 5:30. So it kind of lasts from 5:30 to 8. So we watch the film and then we have post-discussion dialogue. You don't have to read the book, but you can, because then it's kind of nice to know how they change things. And we're going to have a guest. So one of our librarians is a historian as well, and so he's going to be our guest. And he has actually done a World War I. He's been a guest for another World War I film that we've watched, and that was, Joy Noel.
Joy Noel.
Yes, and that was
I'm not familiar with that. I'll have
maybe
to find that.
2005, and it was based on the Christmas Truce.
Oh.
It was really good. That was a fantastic film, and so he was there, and he even had a gas mask that was based. It was Russian, but it was based on the gas mask from World War I. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of see what it would look like. But anyways, we're excited to have Jerry Giordano as our discussion person for that one. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Of course, I'm looking forward to all the events and all the times. But it's just wonderful to remember the history, what led us in, what took place during.
How much has changed.
And how much has changed, to contemporary times now. Completely different.
Having horses. And
right, and that alludes to one of the organizations I'm a member of, which is they use the French language, but in any event, La Société de 40 Hommes et 8 Chevaux, translated is the Society of 40 Men and 8 Horses, because in World War I, the troops were transported to the front lines in these very small boxcars that held either 8 horses or 40 men, and most of the time they weren't cleaned before the men were put in after the horses. So, and then they made light-hearted fun of that because it's just one of the things they had to do and they had to endure. But in any event, so that is a veteran service organization that's near and dear to my heart, a little bit different than others because you can't just join it like you can most others. You have to be invited in, and you have to want to be able to do and give back to your community. Okay, so that's enough of that plug-in for what we call the 40 and 8. But in any event, it has historical significance. It actually was part and parcel of American Legion, started by the same people, and then eventually broke off in 1960 as its own organization. But in any event, so we try to be active in the community and give back. And I mentioned earlier to you in just conversation, we do one nurse's scholarship here at Gulf Coast now, and we're in the process of raising $20,000 to start the second scholarship to be awarded annually in perpetuity.
It's so
fantastic.
fantastic.
And of course, it'll be all administered by the college. We just need to get the money. So if you'd be inclined to make a donation for that, as you're making a donation to Bay County Library, you can see Duncan McLean here at Gulf Coast State College. He'll be happy to relieve you of your monetary donation. Or you can see Sarah Burris at the Bay County Library, or I'm sure somebody else would relieve you of your funding there. So.
Or if you have the World War I artifacts that you would like to share.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll accept some ourselves, and we'll be good stewards of them if somebody wants to turn them over.
Oh no.
We do have what's known
Yes,
as
this
a
is
property
true.
master who takes care of everything we have.
I bet that looks. I bet that would be fantastic to
Yeah, it would
check
be
out.
good. Yeah, it would be good. So, tell me, if you want to, how you wound up being involved with the library system. Was it due to your education or just your fondness of knowledge and reading?
It's due to my education as well. I have kind of a roundabout way of getting to the libraries. I first have a degree in sculpture, and then I don't do sculpture much anymore, but then I was a display coordinator for Anthropology, which is a clothing store where you make all the window displays. And I knew I couldn't do that like long term, so I needed something that I loved to do but could do forever. And so a lot of my friends that were art history jumped into, they kind of did a dual major of art history and library science. And so that's kind of how I jumped in as well, and it just fit me perfectly. So I happily found my calling in being a librarian.
Well, good.
Yes.
And if you love what you do, as has been said, not to be using cliches, but if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And things like this, make it a lot of fun.
And I was very fortunate in my own right for the same thing. Even though what I did probably wouldn't appear to be that glamorous or what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes I struggle for a word. People wouldn't think it would be that lucrative, but I loved working with my hands as well as my brain. And so I wound up in the automotive field and mechanics and loved it. And it raised my children and made a good living after I got out of the Army, and woohoo. And I still tinker. My wife gets upset when I buy a project and redo it, and she herself was mechanical because she retired from Boeing. She built aircraft.
Oh my goodness.
And her being tiny, like we're all munchkins, what we'd say. She was the one that was up in there doing wiring and all that good stuff. I couldn't do it, but so she helps me when I'm tinkering with a project.
That's awesome.
And it's a lot of fun, mostly.
Do you have a vehicle you're working on now, or?
We did a Miata 2 years ago. We just finished a GMC pickup truck about 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And keep you out of trouble.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. We don't work on the motorcycles though. Those we farm out to bona fide technicians if we have something that needs to be done. So, but as an independent business owner, I was very blessed.
Excellent.
And thankful. So, enough about that. Let's get back to World War I.
World War I.
Do you have any trench art? Do you know what trench art is?
I do not know, so you're going to have to explain that one to me.
Well, we may have to see if we can find some trench art. A lot of times the troops, in the lull and battle and whatnot, they would take objects, whether it was a shell casing or even a canteen or something like that, mess kits, and they would turn them into works of art, and a lot of them are very ingenious. Sometimes they would craft an entire ship or an airplane or just all kind of objects, and they're rare because most of the collectors have collected them up, but I would suspect there are probably still some out and about that people have as family heirlooms, and things like that, given the history and how long ago all this took place, probably would be best if they were donated to a museum or somewhere local in the community that has a museum or a historical department.
To preserve.
Yes, to preserve it. I wouldn't have a problem giving it here. Absolutely. So that's another appeal to try and, if somebody has something, bring it, donate, put it on loan because they can get it back. In an event like this, they could loan it.
Yes, that would just be a loan.
And get it back. So, and I wanted to thank you and the entire staff at the library for taking those assets that I was given by Commander
Yes.
Jason forgot, and turned them into digital assets because they were so old and so delicate. And now they'll be able to be displayed without worrying that they might get damaged or destroyed.
Exactly, and we just got a new scanner in our local history room, which is open to the public to use. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, so what we have, and I think she'd probably work with you on how to use it, but we just had a class on how to do scanning and save it to your USB drive. And so if anyone's interested, just contact the local history department at the Bay County Public Library or take a visit to the scanner.
Well, how about that? I didn't
It's
know
big.
that. I knew you had
Yes.
a scanner, but I didn't
It's-
know the public could use it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Terrific.
Oh, I know.
So
the
I've got-
library is a great place.
See, I'm 66,
we have a lot happening.
yeah, I'm 66 years old. I have 3,247 pictures. How long would that take to? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I don't think I have anything that's worth scanning and saving. But in any event, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and we would be able to help you get set up, and then it's self-sufficient on learning how to scan.
And as a motorcycle enthusiast, I have to ask this question because as I came out of the library the other day,
Okay.
I see on one side all these motorcycle books.
There
Now, was
is
that
a
intentionally set there because of the bike rally,
I
Thunder
believe
Beach?
so, and yes, there's a book display right now that's motorcycle geared. So
Very
if you like your
apropos.
motorcycles, come on out and the Bay County Public Library and check out the display.
Yeah, because my wife and I were walking out and go, oh, there's some books I haven't read. You have to get those. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So we'll be back.
Yes, no, they do fantastic displays in the adult services
Yeah, 'cause
and children's, but
I mean, it draw your eye immediately because it's like, oh, yeah, 100 years of history on motorcycles, and goodness gracious.
I think there might be a
Easy
giveaway related to that one,
Really?
but I'm not sure. I don't
should've
know the
read
full
more.
details. Yes,
I should have read more than
I should have too.
she was kind of dragging me out at that point.
Yes.
'Cause she knows if I pick up a book, it's over.
Yes.
Start reading it. So,
We have in our collection, I don't know if it was on display or not, but there's a Danny Lyons book. And he was a photographer, and he was in one of the outlaw motorcycle gangs in like Chicago area. And so he took photos in the 60s. So it's like right before Easy Rider type period.
right.
And those photographs are beautiful. So I highly recommend Danny Lyons, Lyons.
I'll have to do that as well. So.
It's phenomenal.
Well, that is terrific. We're getting close to time, so I could sit here and do this forever. Do you want to go over anything else that's upcoming or that strikes you as significant?
Well, we're going to have the free comic book day at the library this Saturday.
Free comic book day?
Yes, it starts at 9 and it'll end at 11, so come early. So that's at the library this Saturday. We have so much happening. This afternoon we have Shakespeare in the library for kids.
Shakespeare for kids?
Yes, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. I believe it starts either 2 or 3. But
See, I can't even envision that, but that ought to be a blast.
it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, we always have tons of things happening.
Well, that's terrific. And the first thing you mentioned was comic book day? So,
Yes, and local comic book places will also be involved, and we have Kat Kahn, who is an expert with graphic novels and comic books, and she'll be helping with that. So May the 6th,
how about that?
9 a.m.
Yeah, somewhere you can take the kids and go have a good time.
Exactly, and we'll have a coloring station as well with just coloring pages from the superheroes, and so it should be a lot of fun.
Good deal. Well, Sarah, thank you so much, and thanks for getting a hold of me and asking me to be a liaison. I'm probably not a lot of help,
Oh,
but
fantastic.
I'm willing to do whatever I can, and I'm sure this is going to be a huge success.
We're excited.
Yeah, well, I am too.
So come
yeah.
join us
Yeah,
in
please,
August.
Please do. And don't forget, if you have artifacts to loan or donate, get them down to the library, Bay County Library, 11th Street, and look up Sarah Burris, or anybody there in historical can certainly take care of it, and it would be greatly appreciated. So, in any event, thank you again.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Definitely.
Thanks.
So hopefully I'll be
The
back.
next time.
Yes.
And the door's always open. And we're going to do this again before this kicks off in August, right? Because
Yep.
we might have a bunch of updates on donations. That would be terrific.
Hmm.
Yeah, that'd be terrific. Thanks again.
Thank you.
We're out.